Hello everybody, the Great Dino Ranger here again, back with another review. Today, continuing on with all the things I got for my birthday, we have another Jurassic World figure to take a look at, and that is the Hammond Collection Baby Triceratops. So it's nice to get another Hammond Collection figure, and this time it's a baby. This is my first baby dinosaur. No, never mind, scratch that. This is my second baby dinosaur in the Hammond Collection. The first one being the baby T-Rex. I skipped out on the baby Stegosaurus. I feel like the Legacy Collection one was a lot better in terms of sculpt, in my opinion. Yeah, really cool to have actual baby Triceratops. And this one seems to be based off of the Jurassic World variant of the Triceratops, not the Jurassic Park variant. So that's very interesting. But I can't wait to get a closer look at this one as well. Got a cool looking render of the baby. It says Jurassic World because I think this is supposed to be based off of the first Jurassic World movie. You know, the same like Hammond Collection packaging. Nice little render of the cute little trike right there. On the back, yeah, cool little render of the trike and some poses and close up the glass eye. Some other figures in the lineup, which I have all of them, and I've already done reviews of all three of these. So if you guys haven't, please check those out. And then we got a cool little bio. It says Triceratops. The young Triceratops and other smaller dinosaurs are a popular attraction at the Jurassic World petting zoo. Plus, the Triceratops can cut through plants with ease due to a unique jaw and teeth that function as giant scissors. So that's really cool. This one does seem to be based off of the first Jurassic World because it says the petting zoo. That's really cool, and kind of some more information on just the dinosaur itself rather than this dinosaur being a character. So really cool there. Can't wait to compare this with adult trikes, but yeah, really cool little dinosaur. So let's go ahead and take a closer look at this figure. Alrighty, so here we have the baby Triceratops out of the package. Now when you take it out of the package, you do have to assemble the tail to the body. So it's just one easy piece to insert, and then you're all good to go. But yeah, here we have the Hammond Collection baby Triceratops. And I gotta say, I really like this little guy. This is such a cool little figure. I just love the look of it. It's a really nice, like, pretty solid baby Triceratops. And yeah, I like this little thing. It's so cool looking. I really do like it a lot. It'd be cool if I was able to get multiples. If I ever find any more at the store, I think it'd be really cool to have a cute little group of these guys around my other larger trikes. This design, that looking at it here, this is definitely based off of the Jurassic World design, or at least the baby Triceratops based on the World trilogy. That's only been seen in the first Jurassic World and Fallen Kingdom. I don't think it was in Dominion, except for the baby Nasutoceratops. But yeah, this is definitely the Jurassic World style Triceratops. It's kind of hard to explain, but it's just the way the skull is shaped that kind of gives it away. And also the colors, because it's more like this gray color. That's what makes it look like the Jurassic World one. It's kind of, you know, we'll get into other thoughts on the design later when we get to comparisons, but overall the design is pretty good, pretty solid. I like the sculpting on it. I really do like the baby Triceratops in the Jurassic World movies. I like the little petting zoo portion with the kids riding it, and I like the little Triceratops baby hanging out with its mom in Fallen Kingdom. So I really liked how the baby trike was utilized in the World trilogy more than the Park trilogy. It only like showed up once, I believe, during the Lost World, very briefly, and then that was really it. But yeah, other than that, pretty nice figure. The coloring is pretty standard as well. It's like this kind of like this warm gray tone. It's pretty like I said, it's very like the Jurassic World style Triceratops is. There isn't really a whole lot when it comes to their colors anyway. They're just kind of like a drab gray color, which I like. I mean, sure, it's cool when you have other bits of color here and there, but the solid gray is pretty nice to me. I know a lot of people don't like the more earthy tones that a lot of the world dinosaurs have, like the grays and the browns and all that, but it makes it more naturalistic in my opinion. But you know, it is what it is. But yeah, it's covered in like this warm gray tone. You got like this light gray color for the underside that actually goes all the way to the tail, which is pretty nice, and the underside of the jaw as well. Kind of breaks up the gray, and then it's kind of hard to point it out, but it's got like these dark colored spots on it, which is a really cool touch. It's kind of hard to see in some shots, but if you look closely, it's definitely a lot easier to see it in person, but it's got like this nice dark colored speckling on it, which actually, there's actually 2 different color variants of this figure. I think I have one of them. It's the, I think more of the gray one, and then the other one has more of a green tone on the frill, and the speckles are more green. So this one, they do seem green, but they're definitely a lot more darker. So I think the other one has like more of a lighter green tone. I haven't seen the other one. I've never actually seen any of these in person, which is why it was super exciting when I got this for my birthday, because I was like, oh my gosh, I was looking for this. So yeah, the speckling, really nicely done. Kind of adds more texture to it than just a plain solid color. It's kind of like, and then you got some like darker colors kind of like dry brushed onto here, kind of brings out a little bit of the detail. And you got a lot of that here on the frill. Again, pretty hard to kind of show on a camera, but it's like a dark green, or maybe like a very dark gray dry brush across the frill right here. It kind of makes the scales and the frill pop out. Yeah, it's kind of hard to see, but yeah, I really do like the colors, and I like the light whitish gray color for the beak and the horns on the face. They pop really nicely against the dark gray. And then obviously that glass eye is really nice on this one. Some of the Mattel glass eyes figures, their glass eyes aren't that noticeable sometimes. Some are very well done. This one is definitely one of those very well done figures with the glass eye. And the pupil is not on the inside, it's painted on the outside. So I think that I like that a bit more than having the eyes just follow you, in my opinion. But yeah, they look really great. I like the yellow. The yellow works so well with all this gray colors, in my opinion. And the pupil looks great too. The sculpting on the head is very well done. I like the amount of small pebble scales they have all over the face, and the lined textures on the horns. Very realistic. Then the frill is covered in a lot of these scales. You got a lot of smaller ones, and you got like this row of bigger ones that kind of circle around the frill. It looks really nice. Nostrils are sculpted very nicely, and the entire figure is more like this lined texture on the skin, which you see in a lot of the Jurassic World dinosaurs, and it looks really nice. It feels really cool too, all over the body. And you got some scales kind of poking out in the sculpt here and there. Here on the back of the frill, you got a lot of nice scales, very typical for a ceratopsian. And you got some more scales here around the shoulder region, as well as like the hip region. Got some larger ones and some more line textures. And that kind of continues all the way down to the rest of the legs and the feet as well as the hands. And on the underside, you got a lot of nice, like the elephant-like skin wrinkles on the feet. You got a lot of nice, like, I lost the word for it. The skin wrinkles, there we go. Skin wrinkles for the neck and around the arms, around the body region. Kind of gets you a good look at the sculpting, you know, where the movement is coming from in little dinosaurs like these, especially here around the tail. The tail is very nicely done. Look at all those scales on there. So yeah, the sculpting work is very, very good on this little figure. So yeah, it looks really nice there as well. So yeah, the sculpting paint is really good on this little Triceratops. This is the second baby dinosaur I have in the Hammond collection. The other one is the baby T-Rex. I think I've said that before. I skipped out on the Stegosaurus. It just didn't, the jaw articulation on that one kind of ruined it for me. It just kind of looked a little off. That's why I like the Legacy collection one a bit more. And actually, speaking of articulation, the jaw on this baby Triceratops is actually really good. That's one of the things. Mattel is kind of weird when it comes to herbivore jaw articulation, except for things like the sauropods. They have really good articulation. But when it comes to like things like stegosaurs or even ceratopsians and even hadrosaurs like the Parasaurolophus and Corythosaurus, the jaw articulation is just kind of weird and wonky looking. Like Mattel just dedicates one small hinge for the jaw when literally the entire lower jaw should be moving up and down. So very similar. The articulation for the jaw should be actually very similar to what you see in the Beast of the Mesozoic ceratopsian figures. That's how the jaw articulation should be on them. So I don't know if Mattel is ever gonna fix these, but you know, it is what it is. I'm not gonna worry about it too much. These figures are gonna be great regardless. You know, I love Mattel and I love their Jurassic World figures, so you know, I'm never not gonna buy their figures just because of an articulated joint. For the most part, I did do that with the baby Stego, but other than that, their figures I've been buying regardless. So, but yeah, the jaw articulation is actually not that bad on this one. I think it looks pretty good when it's opened and closed. Actually, the inside of the mouth is like this pink fleshy color. That looks really nice. The head can move up and down, so you get a lot of nice movements, and it can swivel 360. So that's pretty nice. They're pretty kind of like some of the Danger Pack or the smaller dinosaur figures that Mattel makes in their main line. Surprisingly, it does not go side to side, which is pretty interesting. Then here at the shoulder, it can move forward and backwards and pivot in and out. The elbows here can move forward and backwards. Mine are very fluent, that's good. And they can rotate. And then the feet, or the hands, technically I should say, can go forward and backwards as well. And they can also rotate. Same thing can be done with the hind legs. They can pivot in and out, rotate. I think 360 for the most part, but just mostly back and forth. The knee joint here can move forward and backwards, and it can swivel. So this is all pretty typical Hammond collection stuff. And then the feet, or the ankles I should say, can swivel and go up and down, so you can get a lot of nice walking, standing, or running poses. So that's really good. That's one of the things I like about the Hammond collection. You can put these in a lot of cool action poses that you can't really get with some of just the standard mainline figures with the basic articulation. Now, interestingly too, the tail here is not bendy wire, but you can move it. It's on a ball joint, up and down, left and right, and it can also swivel. So pretty typical for a tiny tail. I don't think you don't really need a bendy wire for this small of a tail. So I'm perfectly okay with that. And yeah, articulation wise, it's a really great figure. Next, we'll take a look at some comparisons. So for a human, here we have Darius. And it's a pretty massive baby dinosaur, I would say. Or I guess you can call these little juveniles if you want to. But yeah, it's definitely not accurate to how these guys were in the movies. These guys should have been much tinier. But this is definitely a big baby for sure. But for the most part, I think they scale pretty nicely. And then next up, we'll do comparisons with you know, a few others. So first of all, when it comes to the design, this is, like I said, it's based off of the Jurassic World Triceratops. It would have been so perfect if Mattel actually did the Hammond Collection Baby Triceratops in the style of the design from the original movie. There was an animatronic or a model of the baby Triceratops from the first trilogy planned for the first Jurassic Park movie, but they never got around to it. But it was used for the Lost World for that very brief scene during the InGen camp destruction, you know, when the Triceratops ruined the whole InGen camp. Because the other Hammond Collection Triceratops we have is based off of the Jurassic Park design, and now we got a baby, and this is the world design. So kind of a missed opportunity. We could have gotten a Jurassic Park style baby Triceratops, because I really like that design as well, and that one would have worked perfect with all the other trikes, the larger ones that we have. But you know, it is what it is. But you know what, the fact that we got a world variant in the Hammond collection in terms of the baby, hopefully that means we'll get an adult version of the Jurassic World Triceratops in the Hammond collection. But who knows? Kind of a missed opportunity, like I said, but it is what it is. Here is the park variant of a hatchling of the Triceratops. So I guess you can say a hatchling and then a juvenile or an infant, however you want to portray that. But here we have the Hammond collection Triceratops. This is obviously based off of the park variant. This one's based on the world. And for being both Hammond collection figures, they look very nice together. I think they pair very nicely. The parent should be much bigger, but like I said, in terms of Hammond collection, they're pretty cool. You kind of get a good look of how these two variants differ from each other. So there's a lot of differences. Like, first of all, the arms on the park variant are more closer to the head, whereas the world ones are more accurate with the legs kind of sticking more in the back. So that's pretty cool to make all these little comparisons. And actually, while we have that, we'll compare it with an actual size for a Triceratops. And here we have the massive and impressive Habitat Defender. Now this looks right here. That looks awesome. You got the parent and the baby positioned very nicely together, the perfect size and everything. So that is really cool. We'll also just kind of show off a Jurassic World style Triceratops, because, you know, since these two are the same design from the World trilogy, it's kind of cool to compare these ones as well. So yeah, I think these ones look pretty nicely. And also, something I wanted to do since I got this figure is that we can actually do something cool. It's not perfect because in terms of design, but we got kind of a good little growth, age growth comparison here. You got a hatchling, a juvenile. We could say this is a subadult because this one's based off of the animatronic size and it wasn't fully grown, so we can just say this is a subadult. And then we got the adult, so that's really cool to look at. Would have been so much better if this was the park variant for the baby, but you know, it is what it is. These look good together regardless of what kind of variant they are. So yeah, I think it looks good regardless. So all right, so that's pretty much all I have to say for this review. There's not a whole lot because it's just a little baby dinosaur, but it's a really great one and I highly recommend it, just because it's a cool little baby to add into your collection, display it with all of your other trikes, because that's what I'm doing. And yeah, great articulation, great detail, great coloring. I like the glass eye. You know, it's just a solid baby Triceratops, and it works really well with all the other trikes that you have. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have left to say for this one, everyone. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys again for the next review.